It's so wonderful to be with all of you. Another opportunity for you to meditate, to quieten your mind. All just you have to be keep quiet mentally. That's what your practice has to be. Put an effort to remain quiet. Just like you need to put an effort to press the accelerator, there is an effort needed to press the brakes also. You have energy and you had put an effort to imagine, to be creative, to start thinking, but forgot that you needed to stop. Since time immemorial, so many times you have been born and died, but it was only the physical body that was born and died. You were never born, you never died, you always were there. That's what you have to realize. For that, mentally, you have to become quiet first. This is essential. So you just have to watch. That is all you have to do. When you are watching, you will not be thinking. May the Divine Master be with you all to bless and grace upon you.
Thank you, Babaji, again for this wonderful opportunity to learn the highest truth from Babaji.
Wonderful. You are welcome.
Thank you, Babaji. Babaji, the topic today is judgments and illusion. Firstly, Babaji talks about making a judgment, but what does that actually mean to make a judgment?
About anything in the world or anything that imagination comes in the mind, and about that imagination we conclude this is it. That is what I try to call it as a judgment. Like for example, we come across something and we call it a fruit, and we name that fruit. This is mango, this is apple, this is a good man, this is a bad guy. Like that, when we analyze and talk, and in addition we make a judgment. Yes, he is a bad guy, he is a good one, he is self-realized and he is not self-realized, that time. And thus we make a judgment, that when we conclude about it, instead of trying to understand that we are simply imagining, the imagination need not be the truth. We do not know anything about this world. Everything we imagine. In that process, we analyze and we make a judgment. That is what is absorbed as an imprint into the mind.
So, Babaji, as we go on making these judgments about everything that we come across in this world, are we getting lost into an illusion? Does this become an illusion for us?
Exactly. In my opinion and experience, when we imagine, one understanding we need to have is that imagination is only good for this world, for sake of understanding and communication, but not good for the ultimate truth. If we want to know what the actual truth is, truth of this existence of the universe and the matter that exists, objects that are there, which are useful to us, which are this, we have named them. We need to understand, we have named based on our own imagination. That imagination is what is known as creativity in a higher sense, and so that we can communicate with each other. If I also call it as apple, if you understand that also as apple, it will be convenient for us to communicate with each other. To ask, would you like to have an apple? And you will tell, yes, I can have an apple. So if you don't understand that imagination, that terminology, you will be confused when I ask in a different language that you don't understand. So like this, we go on imagining, we become creative, and we end up imagining. that is needed in this world for communications, definitely. But we must not get carried away that to be the final truth. That judgment is what is wrong. We get into an illusion. Yes, this is it, this is it, this is it. Suppose you conclude it as an apple. Then if a person like me come, no, it is not apple. It is the absolute, ultimate truth. It is the divinity. You might feel like laughing. No, this is only an apple. How can this be God? How can this be the absoluteness? Babaji is talking nonsense. So that's what happens when you presume, and that assumption becomes the truth for you. But we need to understand, we must not get into an illusion. We name terminologies, we use terminologies, we name things, and it is only useful in this world. Anything, any currency or any property that we have, any objects, once this body dies, nothing is useful for us of this world. It's all over. So that is what we need to understand. Otherwise, if we make a judgment and absorb that as an impression, imprint into the mind, so we get involved into an illusion. That's what is happening since time immemorial. So many times, as I told, the body of ours is born, and again we have adorned another body, again it is born, and again it dies. But we have never bothered to know what the truth of our own existence, about the existence of this universe, everything. So that is how we have got carried away with an illusion to ourselves.
Thank you, Babaji. Babaji mentioned that an apple can actually be the absolute. But why is it that we do not see this absolute, all-pervading absolute?
That's what you see. In the mind, whatever you have imagined, thoughts, characters are there, stories are there. It all is happening within the mind. It doesn't go outside the mind. It is all in the mind only. And the mind has created them by imagination. So we need to understand. So the actual truth is the mind. Not what it has created has appeared and it will disappear. Though one school of thought might tell, whatever has happened in the mind, appeared in the mind, is also the mind. That's how in some of the Upanishads they have spoken, universe also is divine, because it is part of the divine only. Like if the space is the divine that is all pervaded, so whatever that supreme consciousness has created, it is all within that divinity only, that absolute, not outside. So that is how every object is considered equivalent to absolute. However, we might consider it as a symbolizing, but it is a part of the absolute only. If not all pervaded, at least it is in the absolute, by the absolute only. Because of the absolute only, it is there. So that is why we would like to finally recognize these all which we have imagined in different names and different forms, different understandings, all belong to one absolute truth only. That is what is Purnamada Purnamidam Shloka prayers we tell. This means like the apple or the any matter or this world, this has come out of that absoluteness which is all pervaded. And when this, which is now we call it as world or the any so many terminologies, apple or world, anything, when will disappear, would have dissolved, gone back, evaporated into that absolute which is eternal and has no change, which has never appeared, which always will be there. That is what it is. So that is why this is also absolute which has appeared and will disappear. But the problem is, it is not going to stay eternally in that form or in that way. It is going to disappear. That is why it is alerted to remain detached to this appearance of the world, so that you can realize that ultimate truth, that absoluteness which you yourself is.
Thank you, Babaji. Babaji, we make so many judgments and we have so many likes, or normal people have so many likes and dislikes. Is that because we identify ourselves as this body, first of all, and therefore this whole world appears to us?
Exactly. Just now, we as the consciousness is so much strongly hidden to the brain's reflections, and thus we feel as if we are this body only. That is why that meditation is required, so that you get rid of all imaginations. Then the consciousness of existence shifts from the brain's clutches to itself. That's when you will be able to feel your real self as that. Till then, you will feel this body as yourself. And through the body, when you recognize all this appears to be different from the space. It is in the space, but how can this be space? We will consider this as belonging to us, or at least in the way that we recognize. And we get carried away like that. We never bother to try to know the truth. That is why first thing it is recommended, you need to know about yourself, which is beyond the birth and death, appearance and disappearance of the physical body that you are thinking as you are.
So Babaji, as we do this meditation, Babaji has said that the mind's imprints get purified. And so do we make less judgments if we go on meditating? And are there different levels of judgments also, Babaji?
Two important things I would like to tell about judgments. You can call it level or anything. One is when you are living in this world, a judgment of a good and bad, a real and unreal, all these things would be needed. Like, you must consider that you are an actor in this world, not a reality. So thus, when the entire universe or the appearance or objects or matter itself is not a reality, is just an appearance, so your behavior through the body in the midst of this universe must also be simply an acting. You don't get carried away it as a reality. Thus you might make a judgment. Okay, this is a bad guy, this is a good guy. But in your mind, you must not absorb that as an imprint. Yeah, this is really bad guy. You must be aware this is actually the self which is behaving like that. So that is how a yogi doesn't really get affected if somebody criticizes or somebody praises, because it is only an acting. They themselves do not know what they are behaving. So that is why they are behaving. So we just have to forgive the divine, forget about it, let go. So that is how a yogi does not make any judgments. So this judgment might be needed in the worldly level, but your consciousness must not get carried away by that judgment, considering that as a reality, and must not absorb as a habit into the consciousness, which turns the consciousness into mind. That is what needs to be removed by the practice of meditation first. Then only the truth will be revealed about yourself, about this universe, about the absolute that is all pervaded. That is the first-hand experience must happen. So all these things are recognized by different terminologies as achieving samadhi state, self-realization, becoming aware of the self or merger with the self, everything.
So, Babaji, the difference between a yogi and just a normal person is that a yogi would make a judgment, but would not be holding on to the judgment at all. Would just let go afterwards.
Yeah, a yogi also will watch this world as long as the body is there. A common person also will watch. Whereas common person gets carried away and really gets affected mentally, either through a panic or an emotional unhappiness or a stressful event that happens. All these things affects the consciousness. Whereas a yogi doesn't get affected in consciousness of all such things. He doesn't get panicked mentally, doesn't get stressful, doesn't get affected, considering that as a reality, or doesn't get carried away. Whatever happens, he might behave for sake of the worldly understanding, so that nobody should sit on the head. If we keep quiet, they will sit on the head. We might show some anger, some annoyance, some comment, something, but inside we don't get carried away. We have no comments on anybody. We have no judgments on anybody. We have nothing, because we are totally aware that everything is simply the play of the Atma, what we call it as the self, the reality of the existence.
So does that mean a yogi is totally secure? There's no insecurity?
Yeah, yes. Because once we have come to know about our real self, simply somebody calls me that I am not realized, we don't get affected. There is no insecurity, because of that one person's certificate, our status doesn't get changed. The awareness in the self is always there. That you see, nobody else can see that. Everybody, those who believe me, will have to have the faith, so that they can learn from me, have that reverence. When they lose that faith, they are unable to learn anything from me. So they lose like that one. So for sake of learning, at least one needs to have faith in the Guru. That's what we recommend. Not for my sake, because I am not going to gain by your faith anything. If you lose faith also, I am not going to lose anything. But you will lose. You will not learn. So by not going to the school, you will lose. The master will not lose anything. Any other student going, they will learn from the master, and the master will continue teaching. So if you don't go to the school, you are not going to learn anything. That's what you need to consider.
Babaji, where does this faith come from? Is it from past judgments that we've made, or
A past samskara, what is the acquired habits of the mind, is able to use the intelligence in a proper way. Like, suppose my master had behaved in a peculiar way or commented in a peculiar way. We used to think we don't have to bother about the master's comments like this, the master's behavior like this, because the master is self-realized and he has got that thing which I want to learn. That was the foremost important we said. My master has that thing which I want to learn. So that is important, that I have to learn now. It is not my job that I go on judging the master. In that process, I might lose the learning process. I may become egoistic. I may become arrogant. I will imagine in my own way, and I get carried away with my own imagination. And I start thinking, I am the right person who have judged this master also. And that ego comes. And I would like to influence others also into that path. So this is what happens in the world. Say, when you have faith in the master, you would like to influence others also to have faith in the master. When you don't have the faith, you cannot have the faith. You are the loser. But you would like to make all others also to lose faith, so that they also don't have to learn. See the fun of this world. That is how people get influenced. That is what the Sangati means, company. satsanga, dussangam. The person of alcoholic habit, he would like to influence everybody. Come on, have the alcohol. This is the most important thing in the world for him, alcohol or any drug. They will recommend that one. So many others get carried away. So they also lose. And they all go into one company. They start thinking they are become very good friends and a group now. But they don't understand. They are all losing. So that is how the world's illusion happens to people. So one needs to have faith. This is the faith. One must not lose. That's why our Guru said, you lose anything in the world, but do not lose faith. That will sustain you to learn, to know the truth, if that is what is your intention is. Otherwise, you will simply lose.
Thank you, Babaji. Babaji, the tapas that Babaji did, is that to remove the strongest judgments that are there, like of this world to be a reality, even in the body and everything? Is that what the tapas is for?
Yeah, definitely. Like when we read Yoga Vasistha, that definitely gave the intelligence idea. So everything is all right. Simply my own imagination can always be trapping me into an illusion. This awareness came, right? But since childhood that we did chants and later on went on meditating, all that really helped. Finally, when the tapas was done also, that was first class, perfect experience of the awareness of the self came. And the intelligence to teach also came in that process. So that is how we learned first-hand knowledge by experience. This is the truth. That's why in the 20 years that we were with the Master, so many people came and so many people left by Guru also. Because they came with a personal agenda, they wanted to be VIPs. When their things did not work, they used abusive words to my Guru and they all left. But instantly we understood they are simply foolish. They are living and they are not going to learn anything. They were never interested to learn. We wanted to learn. So we never lost that faith. It was always then. Naturally, effortlessly that faith was there. What the Master is going to behave, what the Master is, there was no such judgment. I have to learn from the Master that which of the ultimate truth, knowledge is there with him. That is important. For that, we love the Master and we will learn from the Master. No power, not even God comes and tries to brainwash me. I am not going to be brainwashed. Like that I used to think and used to have that faith. So like that naturally comes.
Thank you, Babaji. So, Babaji, how is Babaji able to move and sort of be in this world, but still doesn't make judgments? How is that? How can we judge but not be affected by it?
Now it is very effortless because my mind is no more mind, it is silent one and consciousness. And totally in the awareness, it is there. So it doesn't get carried away by anything. Nothing. Any behavior, anything that happens in the world, inner consciousness doesn't get carried away, doesn't get affected. It is naturally, effortlessly in the awareness of the self. The outside world is totally aware that it's only a drama, a make-believe type of movie. That's why we are only a witness. Though we will be sensitive to the happenings in the world. If other people are affected in their sense, in their consciousness, if they want our help, we are happy to help them also. We become compassionate when they pray to us. We pray to that divine to enlighten everyone, to give them also the awareness of the self, to help them to realize that what they are watching is only an illusion and they should not get carried away mentally inside. They should not hold anything as either a friend or enmity, nothing. So like that, a yogi is able to move freely. As Ramana Maharishi has told, even if a yogi is gossiping a lot, he is the ever silent one. Inside is that has become totally silent. So that is what it is there. So we behave naturally. That's why when you come closer to the master, you are likely to misunderstand the master. This Vedavyasa has told. Because master also eats, then one person is likely to think, hey, I am also eating this food and master also is eating the food. What is the difference between me and the master? He might start thinking like that one. The master also is humorous, he laughs, he talks, anything. So he does the same thing like we all do. So how can there be a difference? He cannot be a master, and I am also equal to the master. They can get carried away. That's why it is alerted. Do not go too close to the master. Maintain a middle distance. Have that reverence. This is recommended in guru-disciple relationship. Otherwise, a disciple will not learn. That openness to learning is important. That's why a reverence to the master is necessary, not for sake of the master. We don't need anybody to be having any reverence to us. We are not going to lose, but they should be able to learn. If I teach, they learn only if they are serious, if they have the reverence. To such people only if I teach, it makes sense, it makes difference. If people are not interested, they are not ready to respect me at all, there is no point for me to teach anything. Many times, many people come out of curiosity. Sometimes some come due to friends' insistence and relatives' insistence. They come in front of me. They don't even have manners to do pranams to us. They just sit down. They are looking somewhere. I have seen these type of things happen. But yet they get to see me. But we cannot teach them anything. We cannot transform them because they are not ready to learn. Only if they are ready to learn only. So if the patient is ready to take medicine, only the doctor can help to cure the illness. Otherwise the doctor cannot do anything. That way this gets carried away. But the yogi is always in the awareness of the self. He doesn't get carried away. But others need to have faith. That's all.
So Babaji, some people come to Babaji, but they don't realize the greatness of a yogi, the presence there. But what did Babaji see in Swamiji? Why was it different for Babaji when Babaji first saw Swamiji?
That's why I would like to tell, few years ago, the person who interviewed me, he runs the organization called Bat Gap, Buddha at the gas pump. That meaning he told, you go to a gas pump to buy gas for your car. Next to you, a enlightened soul, a Atmagyani, the person who has self-realized, might be standing. You may not realize at all. A Buddha might be there. That's how we don't know. It is not easy to know anything. However, with my Guru, what happened? I simply fell in love with him. That love sustained me, first thing. Then slowly I learned this knowledge on reading certain scriptures like Yoga Vasistha, Kathopanishad of the Nachiketa story. Everything we learned, if you apply that, what happens always, either the innocent who has total faith also wins, or the one who can really apply the intelligence and understand perfectly, who has reached that stage, also wins. The middle person who is neither innocent nor has the thorough knowledge of what it is, he fails to understand. He starts thinking he aims to be a genius but never learns anything, tries to criticize the master and loses everything. He thinks he is the one who needs to certify the master that master is self-realized. Otherwise suddenly he will declare, oh, master is not self-realized because he did not behave as I expected him. They are the losers. They are the middle people only. They are neither innocent, they are neither nor the highest intelligent application is possible for them. So as we read the scriptures, we understood. Like when I read the Nachiketa story in Kathopanishad long ago, I understood, see, the determination of the boy. He never gets tempted for anything else. He wants the ultimate knowledge. Even if the master tests, this is what we have to achieve. Even if the master behaves in such a way to test us, our faith, our devotion, the master can be misbehaving deliberately. He might be uttering any nonsense language deliberately. That will be a test for the student, that we must not get carried away. Master is testing our faith. We must not lose that faith, that determination. We must never get tempted to go into the world. We need the master and the ultimate knowledge, that we need that one. When we need that one, we go out of way to sustain ourselves at the lotus feet of the master. Come what may be, even to the extent if the master cuts us into pieces and throws us into the river, we will get joy and come back to his lotus feet, because we need to learn. That's what Vedavyasa told Shuka Maharishi. You have to go to Janaka because you want to learn something from him. Go with all reverence and humility. Only when the master permits, go in, come out, behave according to whatever he orders you. Then you ask the question with all your intelligence application, not to test the master, that you want to know that truth. Then by adopting such methods, what the master advocates, then you achieve the truth. Same Ashtavakra taught to Janaka also. That's what he demanded. He was a king Janaka. He demanded, can you give me self-realization? The moment that I can sit on the horseback. He said, yes, I can give you, but can you give me your surrender, your apt attention? That is the condition master demands. If you cannot pay attention what I have been teaching, so you will never learn anything. No matter you stay with me for 5 years or 50 years, it is all the same, you will never learn. This is important, that you pay attention, total attention what the master teaches. Then gradually giving up ego and bringing up the intelligence above that ego. Learn to apply that ego. Then you will have the faith and you will have the better understanding. This is it. This is what I need to learn. If that is what you want to learn from the master, then it's available. If somebody wants something else from me, not the self-knowledge, then I may not have that one. I am not an emperor. I cannot give kingdom to anybody. But I can give the self-knowledge. This is possible. Like that, we sustained ourselves. Nachiketa story, never get tempted to anything, even if the master himself wants to give you. And never get panicked, never have any doubt. Pay apt attention when the master is talking. Many people we saw in Swamiji's time also, they hardly paid attention to what Swamiji had to say. They never even allowed Swamiji to say anything. The moment he came, they came to Swamiji, they used to keep telling all their problems, all their ideas, everything, or the political news of the outside world they used to tell, thinking that Swamiji might be interested to listen to them. Why would a yogi be interested to listen to all such politics? But if you tell, the yogi might simply listen. Instead, if you learn to listen to the yogi, then he will tell. See, you organize this Zoom class and then you ask a question. After asking the question, with all the patience, allow me to talk. Then only I can talk that truth. Otherwise, if you want to talk to me 1 hour of all the ghost stories that you have learned and do not allow me to talk anything, what can I teach you then? You will end up with the ghosts all the time. So that is what is important. Asking a question with the master and learning to learn. These things we learn from these scriptures of Kathopanishad, Ashtavakra Gita and Yoga Vasistha of all. When the master teaches, Sri Rama remained silent and his consciousness was absorbing. As he went on absorbing, his consciousness became quiet and he achieved the samadhi just in that listening of the stories from the master for 7 days. Such ripe was his soul. We can tell he is just ready for that. So ripe the soul. He is one with the Parabrahman already. So that is important to learn from the master, to sustain. Allow the master to teach. If you don't allow the master to teach, where will you learn?
Thank you, Babaji.
Namaskaram, Babaji. My question this morning is, you've answered all my questions already, but in daily life, if a sadhaka is having a test, imagine it's like a toothache, a bad tooth, that they've had pain for many, many years. And in daily life, what is the role of the sadhaka whose ultimate goal is what you're teaching?
Be strong mentally. Don't allow any such pain in the life. Whoever might be behaving in whichever way, do not allow that to affect your mental peace. Because mentally it is you. It is your existence right to have your peace and be happy. No power on this earth must be able to affect that one. That strong you must become. Means mentally reject whoever is behaving in whichever way. You tell ki, I and my Guru is there, my God is there. That is all my world is. And I will do my sadhana. I will live the way he has taught me.
Baba, so imagine the same toothache. If you need resolution for it, like it's real, so will you wait for the master and the Guru to naturally allow it to fall, or can you take an effort to go to the doctor and have it removed?
Take some effort to go to doctor. It is recommended. And then allow the master slowly. He will also show the path to you. Have patience until that comes. But put in your efforts also.
Namaste.
Yes.
I just wanted to know, in our day-to-day lives, we do have to make judgments, don't we, to make sure that we take the right decision, we avoid wrong or bad company, and make sure that we stay on the right track. So we do have to make judgments every day.
Yes.
But-
So what is your question?
The question is, you said that yogis don't make judgments, but in our day-to-day lives, ordinary people have to make judgments.
I made it clear during the teaching itself. Outside in the world, you need judgments and analyzations. The world is a drama stage, and your behavior must be like acting. Whatever needed in the world, you make judgments. But you don't take it seriously in the mind. It was only a drama. Don't allow any imprints to sit down. Strong meditation will help and enable you to understand this difference of outside world, in the body, your behavior. Mentally, it must not affect you is important. Like a yogi also, like I am running an ashram, a mission. I may make judgment. Oh, this person is useless for the mission. He is troubling unnecessarily. Keep him away. Oh, this person is very good. He can dedicate himself and he is useful. So let him work. Like that, if I need to judge, I will judge. But mentally, I don't have any enmity with the person who is not useful. I don't have any too much of attachment to the person who is dedicated. All are same. All I see only the self. Always. So that's how the practice of deeper meditation, eventual tapas can help. You also practice meditation 1 hour regularly. See that as much as possible you remain silent in that 1 hour. That is the aim of your meditation. Then you will see the change within yourself. You will make judgments, you will analyze, but you will not take it seriously to the mind. You will have the peace.
Thank you, Babaji. Thank you.
Pranams, Babaji. Babaji, just like we have a sattvic ego as a definition, can we use the concept of judgment to make our faith stronger? So, for instance, if something bad is happening, I use the judgment to transform into a positive thought that my faith is stronger and I continue in the path.
Yeah, definitely. You can use that one and analyze yourself, assure yourself, this is only a test from my Guru, from the divine, so I need to be strong. And take it as a challenge, even if you need, as a sattvic thing. Now you are testing, but I am not going to lose my faith in you. You have no power to make me to lose the faith. You have no power to make me to lose my love to you, my Guru. That's how I used to think to my Guru whenever he tested me. That is the sattvic judgment, you can use it.
Thank you, Babaji.
Pranams, Babaji. I wanted to see if I'm understanding correctly. If I'm making a judgment and I don't get attached to it in my mind as a truth, then it won't make an imprint.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And one other question, if that's okay.
Yes.
Where is emotion? Is that does the brain reflect that, or is that in the imagination in the mind?
I think the brain reflects, and that is caught by the mind as a reality. It registers in the mind. If the mind can be strong, within moments you can overcome that emotion, even if the brain reflects. Even for a while, for a moment you get affected, that means in a simple language, but you will overcome very quickly. You won't allow it to play on your mind for a long time. This is the practice of meditation, will help you to be overcoming such emotions as quickly as possible.
Babaji.
Thank you, Babaji. Thank you for all your teaching. It's been just so enlightening. I really appreciate it. I would just like to know, you were saying that some people came and they decided to leave the ashram. Now, maybe is it possible for them to find another guru with whom maybe they could learn, or will they not be able to do that because
Possible, it's their choice. Anybody want to find another guru, they can always find. That's no problem.
Okay, thank you. That's my question.
Pranams, Babaji. You have said nobody can show our mind to others, and the mind does not have a specific location. The scriptures refers to the body as having several sheets, or the koshas, Anandamaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, so on. So are these sheets are also like a part of the mind, or where are they located?
Yeah, it's in the imagination of the mind. Symbolically, the old day ancient masters would have referred to as these koshas, the cavity type of things, this cavity, that cavity. That's what we can simple understanding. But immediately, in a simple way for everybody to understand, mind is the one thing that everybody knows. They have a mind, they have the thoughts, but location, it is simply pervaded. That's what it is. That's what we try to tell.
We can't see ourselves physically without a reflector, but we can see others. By seeing others physically, we form our opinions or judgments. Why is it so?
We can see only the physical and we don't have the knowledge about that inner truth. So that is why just by watching the physical behavior or physical personality only, people are able to judge. They will judge only what they can see. If they cannot see, how will they judge? So that's what happens when they don't have the knowledge. So they need to go introvert and gain this knowledge. Then they can understand the Atman, the self that is all pervaded, is inside also, outside also. Then they won't simply get carried away by the body's behaviors.